Picture two people, same city, same job title, same salary. One of them wakes up on a Tuesday morning, checks their phone, and feels nothing. No anxiety, no mental math, no quiet dread about whether this month will work out. The other one wakes up at the same time, in the same kind of apartment, and before their feet touch the floor, the calculation has already started. Same income, same city, two completely different inner worlds. The only difference between them is a number. Not their salary, not their degree, not their parents. A single savings number, sitting quietly in an account, determines which of those two lives you live, every single day. In this video, we are going to walk through every level, from zero all the way to $1 million. And at each level, I am going to show you exactly how your life changes. Not just financially, emotionally, the decisions you make differently, the risks you can suddenly take, the options that open, and the ones that stay locked. Some of these levels are going to feel uncomfortably familiar. Others are going to feel like a door you didn't know existed. Stay with me. Before we begin, here is something most financial videos won't say out loud. The difference between these levels is not just math. It's time. It's sleep. It's the conversation you don't have to have with your partner on a Sunday night. It's the thing you don't have to say yes to because you desperately need the money. Savings is not just a number in an account. It is stored freedom. Every dollar you save is a piece of your future that you no longer have to trade your time for. The people who understand this, not just intellectually, but in their gut, they move through these levels differently than everyone else. So, let's begin. $0. At zero, the entire system works against you, and it has nothing to do with effort. When you have nothing saved, every unexpected expense is a crisis. A car repair, a medical bill, a week of reduced hours at work. There is no buffer, so you borrow. And when you borrow, you pay interest. And interest makes it harder to save, which makes the next crisis worse. Economists call this a poverty trap. The lived experience of it is simpler than that. Everything is urgent, all the time. There is no mental space for long-term thinking when you are managing short-term survival. At zero, the goal is not to get rich. The goal is to break the loop. Even 1 month of expenses sitting in an account changes the physics of your financial life. $1,000. $1,000 is not a lot of money, but it is the first real moment of choice. A broken tire is no longer a catastrophe. It is an inconvenience. That distinction, inconvenience versus catastrophe, is worth more than the $1,000 itself. Research in behavioral economics shows that people with at least $1,000 in savings make measurably better financial decisions than those with nothing. Not because they are smarter, because they are calmer. Fear makes you short-term. Calm makes you strategic. At $1,000, you have bought yourself your first small window of perspective. Don't spend it. Build on it. $5,000. $5,000 is when the word option enters your vocabulary. You can leave a bad job and have 6 to 8 weeks to find another. You can say no to a client without your stomach dropping. You can handle almost every common emergency, medical, automotive, home, without going into debt. This is the level where people start to feel like they have a life, not just a schedule. Something shifts emotionally here too. The anxiety is still there, but it's quieter. It no longer runs everything. At $5,000, start asking a different question. Not, how do I survive this month? But where do I actually want to go? $10,000. $10,000 is the first number that changes how you see yourself. Not how others see you. How you see you. People who cross $10,000 in savings report a measurable shift in identity, from someone who struggles with money to someone who manages it. That shift sounds small. It isn't. Identity drives behavior. When you believe you are someone who saves, you make saving decisions automatically. The mental negotiation shrinks. At $10,000, the question stops being, "Can I save?" and starts being, "What am I building toward?" $25,000. $25,000 puts you at the negotiating table for your own life. You can negotiate salary more aggressively because you can afford to walk away. You can take a calculated career risk, a new role, a relocation, a 6-month project, without gambling with your rent. This is also the level where investing begins to make emotional sense. At $25,000 invested at 7% annually, you are earning $1,750 a year from doing nothing. That is real money. Money you didn't trade hours for. At $25,000, money starts working alongside you. Not for you yet, but alongside you. And that changes everything about the long game. $50,000. $50,000 is when something disappears. The low hum. The background noise that most people don't even realize is there. The constant, quiet financial anxiety that runs underneath every decision, every conversation, every Sunday evening. It goes quiet. Not completely. Not forever. But there are stretches, sometimes days, where money is simply not a source of stress. That silence, for most people, is a completely new experience. At 7% annual return, $50,000 earns $3,500 a year, $290 a month in passive income, a utility bill, a week of groceries, yours without clocking in. Most people don't realize how much energy financial anxiety consumes until it's gone. At $50,000, you start getting that energy back. We have covered the early levels. And I want to pause here, because the next number is the most misunderstood level in personal finance. Most people think $100,000 is the finish line. It is actually the most dangerous trap on the entire journey. Stay with me. $100,000. $100,000 feels like arrival. It sounds like a lot. To most people on Earth, it is a lot. And that feeling, that quiet satisfaction of finally reaching 6 figures, is exactly what makes this level so dangerous. Behavioral economists have documented a pattern called good enough anchoring. When humans reach a number that sounds significant, they unconsciously begin treating it as a resting point. They slow down. They spend more freely. They stop driving. A significant percentage of people who reach $100,000 in savings never meaningfully cross it. The number becomes a ceiling disguised as a milestone. And yet, at 7% annual return, $100,000 is earning $7,000 a year, nearly $600 a month. Your money is working a part-time job, silently, continuously, without you. $100,000 is not the end of the journey. It is where the journey gets interesting. The compound curve is about to start pulling you, if you don't stop pushing. $250,000. $250,000 is the level where the math stops being theoretical. At 7% annual return, $250,000 earns $17,500 per year. That is $1,458 every single month, from doing absolutely nothing. That is more than minimum wage in most of the United States. Your money now earns more per month than millions of full-time workers take home. The psychological shift at this level is profound. You stop thinking about saving as sacrifice and start thinking about it as engineering. Every dollar you add isn't just a dollar. It's a permanent worker you've hired at zero ongoing cost. At $250,000, you stop asking, when will I have enough? And start asking, how do I make this permanent? $500,000. $500,000 is the level most serious financial planners point to as the first genuinely secure retirement foundation. At 7% annual return, $500,000 generates $35,000 per year. That covers a modest but real lifestyle in most cities, without ever touching the principal. Your savings stays intact forever. Your life is funded by returns. This is the level where retirement stops being a distant fantasy and becomes a calculable date on a calendar. It's also where something surprising happens. The desire for more money quietly changes, not because you are satisfied and done, but because you understand, for the first time, what money is actually for. The wealthy don't accumulate money to display it. They accumulate it to buy back hours, days, choices, the finite, irreplaceable resource of their own time. At $500,000, the horizon opens. $1 million. It is the number most people point to when you ask them to define rich. It appears in movies, in retirement commercials, in the subconscious arithmetic of people who have never come close to it. And yet, almost everyone who actually reaches it says the same thing. It wasn't what I expected. At 7% annual return, $1 million earns $70,000 per year. That is $5,800 every single month. Passively, indefinitely. The principal stays. The returns keep coming. Your money has become a self-sustaining system. But here is what $1 million actually buys. And it has nothing to do with numbers. It buys optionality. You can work or not. You can take the project that excites you instead of the one that pays the most. You can say no without calculating what it costs you. You can take the trip, have the conversation, make the change you've been postponing for years. The millionaire's most valuable asset isn't the million. It's the word no. The freedom to say it, mean it, and not flinch. $1 million does not make life perfect, but it ends a specific kind of suffering. The suffering of having your choices made for you by necessity rather than by desire. That freedom, quiet as it sounds, is the real reason people spend their lives chasing the number. So, where are you? Not where you want to be, where you are right now. Because here is the truth about every single level we just walked through. None of them require luck. None of them require inheritance. None of them require a salary you don't currently have. They require time and consistency. That's all. The person at zero today, who starts putting away $300 a month, will cross 100,000. Not quickly, not easily, but certainly. The person at 100,000 who keeps pushing instead of resting will cross 250,000 faster than they imagine, because compound interest starts pulling instead of just sitting. The person at 250,000 who understands that the next level is earned by not stopping, they will see 500,000. Then 1 million. Not as a dream, as math. The most important financial decision you will ever make is not which stock to buy or which account to open. It is the decision to start, and then the decision to not stop. Every level we talked about today, every shift in psychology, every moment of quiet, every open horizon, is available to you. Not someday. On a timeline that begins right now, with whatever you have. Tell me in the comments, which level are you at today? Be honest. Not where you want to be, where you actually are. I read every single one, and I want to see where this community stands. And if this video gave you something, subscribe. Because next week, we go deeper. The exact moves that take you from your level to the next one, faster than the math alone would suggest, is possible.